無我の境地。
Greetings, travelers! Today we will look into difficulties however might encounter while designing Genshin Impact's overall difficulty as a game. Whenever a new Abyss or set comes around, there are usually two types of messages popping out, one for "it is too hard" and one for "it is too easy". So which is it? Why is it? What is the problem with Genshin's difficulty? Let's take a step back and look at two extremes, our test subjects if you will. For the sake of argument, let's take real extremes. On one hand, we have fresh Adventure Rank 50 free-to-play players who might have had enough materials to level 1 or 2 characters to level 90 and get some talents to level 9. They don't have a lot of characters to choose from, have limited weapon options, mediocre artifacts, and an abundance of grass to touch. On the other hand, we have Omega Whales with 2 years of grinding each day with resin resets. They have each 5-star character at C6 and R5, their artifacts are subject of legends and crit value is so high they might have reached Celestia itself. The difference between two is astronomical, and it's by design, encouraging players to spend money and receive power spike. Your mileage may vary. But how do you even balance around such extremes? At the start of the game there is a balancing progress that satisfies both new and older players. I'm talking about world level. As you advance in your journey, world adjusts difficulty to accommodate your level, new abilities and expanding resources. But past world level 8, it's even playing field. Open world and domains are not going to increase in difficulty past this point. But of course, those aren't meant to be any real challenge anyway, since their purpose is to grind resources. Only difference here is that our hypothetical whale going to beat any encounter in mere seconds, while new player might go on for like a minute. So, in the end it all comes down to Spiral Abyss, the only current combat-oriented endgame, which is in itself a flawed creation, just like Pineapple Pizza. As Genshin nears to its 3rd year of existence, each Spiral Abyss reset has seen total HP pool of enemies in it increased progressively. For sure it meant to accommodate power level of older players that had time to accumulate characters, weapons, artifacts and beards on their neck. But what about newer players? Barrier to entry has decreased somewhat with release of Dandara, since Bloom teams are easy to assemble, easy to play and are extremely powerful. But more often than not, playing Spiral Abyss as a new player, you will find yourself either not being able to even clear floor 11, or just short of hitting 9 stars on floor 12. And on the other hand, Giga Whales will just face your Abyss far above time requirement. It's not a secret that Spiral Abyss isn't very popular among wider Genshin player base. Rewards are not good enough for newer players to struggle through it, and for whales it might as well just be boring at this point. So how do you even balance it, given such a wide spectrum of player power? We've seen heroes try a couple different tricks, namely stalling enemies and elemental shields. Stalling enemies are playing bad, it's infuriating to watch them fly away or bury in the ground or otherwise make themselves invincible. It does increase time required to beat them for experienced folk, but it also does for everybody else and, anyway, are very annoying to fight. Elemental shields are better, I'm talking mainly about Abyss Lectors and such, but to a lesser degree it also applies to mages. Elemental damage you do to those shields aren't affected by your character's level, weapon or artifacts, and while some constellation can help here, more often it's not or to a lesser degree. But on the other hand, presence of such elemental shields forces players to make sure their team can accommodate that, which is great on itself since it forces diversity, but can be bad for a new player who might not have many characters to choose from. Ideally, you would want to have difficulties such as new players will find Abyss challenging but doable, old players will find it rewarding for their investment, and whales still find it easy because they are whales and can be whaling. I would argue that such a goal is not achievable while players' success in Abyss is measured by a timer. One just can't balance this big of a difference in a player-based power levels with a simple timer, and I don't think that adding another floor will fix this issue. People will still complain that they can't get rewards from a new floor, but if there will be no rewards, barely anyone will actually play it. My proposal is remove timer, make Abyss based on points, similar to how many combat events are now in Genshin. higher floor you get more points for completing it. Each reset there is a cap. Reach it and get all rewards. Additional custom difficulty settings like those from aforementioned events would be awesome as well, but even just removing timer and getting point track would go a long way. New players would be able to turtle through and get all the points, Wells would get some easy clears, and even stalling enemies now would be less annoying. What do you guys think? Are you a whale? A new player? An older one? What's your experience with Abyss? If you have your own suggestions on how to improve current situation, leave them in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, I appreciate it greatly. With all that said, thank you for watching, and I see you next time.